Okay, here we go. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome to BWTM Sports. This is it. Wilder versus Fury, the fight within the fight. I don't quite know how this video is going to pan out, but what I do know is I'm going to speak to you about my truth, how I feel about things, and ultimately, it's for you to make a decision how you feel about it. None of my opinions or our opinions are set in stone. And again, it's some of it's for entertainment purposes, and somewhere along the line, I hope that we can see some things we can agree on and some things we'll disagree on. For those of you who overstand, and a lot of things I'm going to be saying today, I'm going to talk in code for those who understand. For those of you that overstand what I'm about to say, really not much more has to be said. This fight, Wilder versus Fury, is a fight within a fight within a fight. On the face of it, to those people who are just fans of boxing, it's two guys in the sport, two big guys in the heavyweight division fighting for supremacy. That's how it looks for people who just tune in to watch a boxing bout. Those people who watch boxing on Sky, or that's what I see. But this fight, as I said, is a fight within a fight. There's a historical aspect to this fight. There's a current aspect to this fight. We all hear about Tyson Fury and his fighting line and lineage. There's nothing that can be said about that but for praise. But Deontay Wilder also has a lineage. Now, when I spoke about this, if you go back to look at my video, Deontay Wilder, the most violent puncher in world boxing, which I think now a lot of people are beginning to agree on that. I mean, in the Showtime presenters, and we're talking about Deontay being the most violent puncher in boxing. Deontay Wilder, let's put it this way: games are over. Fun and games are over. Deontay Wilder was ready to fight right there and then. Whereas Tyson Fury does a lot of promoting to promote a fight. This fight now, at this point in time, the fight has gone beyond promotion. Gone beyond that. I hate to say this, but boxing brings out some of the worst kinds of people. The racists. That's what I'm talking about. The racist is what boxing brings out, unfortunately. That's one of the aspects of the sport I don't like. Bad enough as it is, there's racism in the world. People will be colorblind. They won't look at your achievements and what you do. They will look at the color of one person's skin and the color of another person's skin. And then they'll say, well, even if he's black or he's white, I'm not looking at it because he's black or he's white, not because of what the person's achieved. So you've got to treat a person based on the content of their heart and the character rather than the color of their skin. Unfortunately, in the sport of boxing, and if you go on the Showtime streams, you'll see one of these YouTube streams where boxing's on, you'll see these low class, low vibrational beings spouting out how they feel with racist comments, whether it be towards the traveling community or towards any community other than their own. See, I would have just looked at this fight as two guys fighting and really want to study the historical aspect of it, being a black guy from the UK with Caribbean background. That's how I would have looked at it 8 years ago. But I thank my wife, who is a black woman from America. And those, again, who are in America would understand what I'm trying to say there. And because of that, and because of the American connection, and because of how my wife is connected in America, it's allowed me to see things I probably wouldn't have seen. It's given a different dynamic as to what's going on here. Whereas before, I probably would have just seen Tyson Fury's aspect of things, being a Brit and being from the UK. But now I understand and see things from Deontay Wilder's perspective. This is not a game. This is not an act. This is not a. This is not an act. This is not a game. This is not a. This is not a fight you'll see at the York or Bethnal Green on a Saturday night, or Leeds or Birmingham or Manchester. It's not one of those fights. It's not even like Klitschko versus Joshua. It's a different breed of fight. This fight, we're talking about history here. We're talking about a man in Deontay Wilder. First of all, where he's come from in Alabama, which is known or has been known for the racial history that's happened in Alabama. I'm not getting into all of that. And really, it's probably American would be best to tell you about that. But when Deontay Wilder looks at Tyson Fury, what does he see? What does he see? What is he looking at when he sees Tyson Fury? He's looking at maybe not Tyson himself. And I kind of feel sorry for Tyson in this situation. I'm not sure Tyson Fury really understands what he's got himself involved with. Yeah, he's got himself with a guy who's boxing and he's got all the boxing skills. Put that out the window for 1 second. I'm not sure if he politically understands what he's got himself enwrapped with. I mean, mate, I read some quote somewhere where Tyson said he wanted to come into the ring with Donald Trump walking into the ring with him. Was he serious? Was he serious when he made that statement? Because if he was serious when he made that statement, the ramifications for that, if you understand the current climate in America, it isn't good. It isn't good at all. For Deontay Wilder, you see people that look like himself. I'm talking about Deontay Wilder here. I'm not generalizing, as you look like to generalize. He has seen young people look like himself being shot and killed by people that look like Fury. He's seen people that has blocked his pathway that look like Fury. I'm just trying to put it in the perspective of Deontay Wilder. Not me, but what he sees. When he talks about 400 years, he's talking about black people and the struggle they've had and the oppression they've had to deal with. That's what he's talking about. And the struggle he continues to go with and deal with. Why is he being ignored? So for Wilder, he sees it as, well, Fury, once again, is capitalizing on the privileges that he's got. That's how Wilder's looking at things. And then we had a situation with Radio Raheem, who made a statement. What do you mean by your people? Wilder basically turned around saying to you, you are one of the people because you're black, like me. You should understand my struggle. You should understand my pain. But he's not going to go there. Not going to go there because that would jeopardize a certain position. It will jeopardize money. It will jeopardize position. So we don't go there. When people are being paid a certain amount of money, they're not going to go over the line. I'm trying to be, what do I call this? Diplomatic? No. trying to bring light without bringing charge and fire to situations. This fight has descended into what racists call a black guy versus a white guy. That's what this fight is descending to. For me, personally, Fury shouldn't have taken this fight in America. The fight should have been in the UK. This fight should have been in the UK or taking the charge out of Wilder. Now, what you don't do, I think, so a man like Wilder is winding him up further. Sometimes when you rile people up, it makes them even more focused. It makes them even more pinpoint. It makes them even more razor sharp. And then there are other people, when you wind them up, it brings the worst out of them. So not only you have a situation with Wilder, who is wound up already and like a coil ready to go, based on his frustration of not being recognized for his fighting ability and what he's done, have been constantly called windmill and people discrediting him. Not only that, but the racial undertones and the challenges he had to face in America, being American, and the current political climate in America. Not only that, but now he's got a guy up in his face who said he'd come out to the ring with Donald Trump. If you understand what Donald Trump represents. And then you've got Fury discrediting him for his achievements. And then doing exactly what Eddie Hearn did, walking around the streets asking who Wilder is. And on top of all of that, he then turns around and says, Wilder can't knock him out. This is red alert time. Because here's a news flash. Steve Cunningham dropped him. Here's a news flash. Nevin Pajcek dropped him and almost knocked him out. If you go back and look at those fights. Lesser punchers have dropped Fury. That's a news flash right there. Lesser punchers have dropped Tyson Fury. Now he's going in with the most violent puncher in world boxing. And you think by winding him up, it's going to somehow work in your favor. This fight is not about just two guys getting rid. I said this before. I said this in the last hour thing I did with Wilder versus Fury. And you can take it and you can leave it alone. But I'm saying it the way I'm seeing it. There's a saying, if you know better, you do better. Or at least if you've got the knowledge and you can see what's going on, you pass that knowledge over. Now, there are people in this world that, like I said, will discredit the work that you do based on the color of your skin, not the content of what you produce. There are people in this world who, by nature, are the lowest form of low there is. These are sort of people that will gossip, talk behind your back, sort of people that try and undercut you, steal from you, steal ideas, don't give you the credit for it. The sort of people that will complain about being attacked when they're constantly attacking people who have done them no harm. The sort of people that when you listen to them, all they can do is spew rubbish and abuse others. There are people like that in this world. And there are people like that in this world that actually have an opinion in boxing. They have an opinion in the sport, but they cover it up as I'm a boxing fan. But when you watch what they do and how they act, there's no balance in what they say. They don't give credit where it's due. So when it comes to the sport of boxing and this side of things, where it becomes political, which it is, particularly when it's in America, and when you decide to pick up yourself from the UK and go to America and fight in America for the heavyweight championship of the world, It's not just another fight. We're talking history here. People said that Wilder had his Ali moment. People are waking up and understand that it's not just another fight. Wilder's not just fighting for the belt and his family. People say they don't know Wilder. After this fight, they will know him because he's fighting for a nation of people that look like himself. That is what Wilder is doing. When he spoke about the 400 years of oppression for black people, when he talked about that, I said this to you before, when I talked about Wilder being, tapping into his ancestors, and he's not your average boxer. When I said this back then, those words are now coming back now that you saw at the press conference. I hope and I pray that Fury has prepared for himself for a fight that he may never have faced before. It's a whole new different fight. You're talking about a guy, if you look at the way Wilder fights, he talks the way he fights. He's on a coil. When he pulls that left hand back, the right hand back, and he lets it go, that's a coil. And at the moment, he's like a coil, wound up. Nobody's giving me credit. Nobody's giving me credit. Nobody's getting credit. Here's my opportunity to get credit. If I knock this guy Fury out, I get a whole different type of credit because then they've got to see me seriously. So Fury represents, Tyson's name is Fury, yeah? But what Tyson represents, and what Tyson represents is not just, he represents a market, he represents, in terms of what Wilder sees. I'm not telling you what I think Fury represents. This is from Wilder's perspective. He represents to Wilder an oppressor. And when he sees Fury mocking him and doing that stuff, that's the sort of stuff that comes out of an oppressor. From an American standpoint, from a Black American standpoint, looking at Fury, that's a whole different mindset. That's a whole different mindset. See, his trainer knows what's up. Mark Breland knows what's up. Freddie Roach probably knows what's up as well. Fury, I'm not so sure if he does. I'm not sure if Fury is really aware of what he's involved with on Saturday night. And it's the wrong place to be not sure about your team going to war. The wrong place. This isn't your ordinary fight. I tell you this. I tell you this. It's red alert. And I hope somebody made a comment and said, Ingram, oh, Sunday morning you'll be pulling back your comments. Wait, let me clarify something for you here. These are two of the best heavyweights in the world. Either man can beat one another. Fury has a skill set there. Wilder has a skill set. Wilder has a skill set in itself to be able to land those punches the way he does. Fury has a skill set as well. So I'm not looking at this fight as black man versus white man or gypsy versus black man. No, I'm not looking at that. I'm looking at two elite fighters boxing because I'm not interested in the political ramifications, but I'm aware of it. The political climate in America is to a point where black children and black men have been openly fired upon within the police force in America. It's happening on a daily basis. They have a guy that's in office that is doing and saying what he's saying and infuriating many. And many people that even look like the president himself have come out and said, unacceptable. You have to understand the climate of the climate of what it is and this fight. Larry Holmes, Jerry Cooney. Media will spin it to however they want it to be. Tyson versus Holyfield. Tyson was the Muslim. Holyfield was the good guy. Holmes versus Cooney, the black guy versus the white guy. Ali versus Fraser. Ali looking at as Fraser as a guy that really he wasn't black enough for Ali. He didn't know himself enough as considered Ali's perspective of things. He had 3 fights with the will of one and the other. Fraser trying to impose his will on Ali, and Ali saying, "No, I'm not having this." We had 3 great fights. There's a historical aspect to this fight. As I said, it's a fight within a fight. People might not want to hear this. Your choice. But I can only tell it the way I see it. So there are people here. The people here who will come in a room here and will talk their spew and say, "Oh, so Wilder doesn't see Finkel as an oppressor." Does anybody understand the relationship between Wilder and Finkel? Do you understand the relationship between Wilder and Finkel? There must be a relationship there. Is Finkel humiliating Wilder? Is Finkel oppressing Wilder? I'm just seeing it the way you may call it stupid and call it a stupid argument. I don't know you. I don't know who you are, and you're pretty faceless. So I don't know you. I don't know some of you people. I don't know what some of you people are. Some of you people that come on my chat room are the most two-faced people I would have known. Because I tell you something now, some of you people will go on another person's channel and sit there and insult me on another channel, and then come back here and try and talk to me and say we're friends. We're not friends. But I see you and know what you're about. So I'm not having to explain myself to a few things. So some people say, I don't see racism in this. Well, it's up to you. It's how you see it. But I'm just telling you information from what I've seen. And these things will come out again. They'll always come out in the wash. I mentioned this stuff in my last video. For those of you who don't get it, the message is not for you. I understand that. So I'm not here. You got to understand something, people. I'm not here to be your friend. I'm not here to say what you want me to say. And I'm certainly not here to follow the gang. That's not what I'm here to do. I'm not here. You know, people come in and make their comments and say what they've got to say and be biased. So understand, I try and keep this as balanced as possible. I said from day one, I think Fury's a good fighter. I said from day one, I didn't like Wilder in the beginning. I didn't like what he was doing. I thought that he was fighting a whole load of cab drivers. I said it. And I told him it. But when he became world champion, I had a different sort of respect for him. And he's improved in every single fight. And I expect to see that improvement again Saturday night. I'm not here to justify what I'm saying. I'm telling you as it is, because I don't know you. So I can't have an argument with you. I can't have a fair point with you because I don't know you, just as you don't know me. You may know me from the videos I've done, but you don't know me. And I'm not trying to justify anything here. I'm just saying it as I see it. And what I see here, and I said it beforehand, go back and listen to my video about Wilder and about the 400 and about the ancestry and all that stuff. That's where he's lined up to. That's where he is. That's why he attacked Radio Raheem the way that he did. You know, there's some people in this room that think they can talk and have it. They think they've got a position where they can talk from another culture's perspective. And they can't, or they shouldn't. right? I can only talk from what I feel and from what I walk and from what I experience. That's what I talk from. I can't talk about an experience from a privileged background. I can't talk from that because I'm not from that background, from a position of privilege, from a position where people open doors for me. Just like it doesn't work like I like to work for everything I've got. And people try and close doors. I create this from scratch. I ain't no help from no one. You know, people are quick to fire out questions. But hey, check this out. You know, I always find it funny. People come on and want to ask me questions and question me. Let me question you about a few things. First of all, why don't you use your real name when you come on YouTube? Why do you go by names that are not real? Why do you do that? But we all want to sit here and point the finger and say, well, you know what? Uh, you're saying this. And well, hold on. Who are you to question me? Who are you to question me? It's an opinion and a way of thought or process. I don't question you as to what your name is. You say, so Ingram, stop hiding behind Wilder's thoughts. The man said it himself, not hiding behind his thoughts. He said it himself. One of the reasons why Wilder's been isolated by the American media is because he speaks things that are politically connected. So when a person that doesn't even come up with their real name, hides their real name, comes to me, who's open and honest, and then starts questioning me, and then I said to him, why don't you use your real name? Why don't you use your real name? You want to have an open debate, but you come in with a fake name or false name. It's not a real debate, is it? So it's funny. I don't know where you come from. I don't know what your standpoint is. I could be having a conversation with you, and no matter what I say to you, it'll never make you happy. Because that just might be your mindset. But my point is this. This is a fight within a fight. That's the way I'm seeing it. It's a fight within a fight. I just hope that Fury is prepared in the right way, because I don't think, now my personal opinion, I don't think that by winding Wilder up is that he's going to come out swinging from round one like a madman. That's not going to happen. That's not going to happen, because he doesn't come out round one swinging, windmilling. It's not going to happen that way. But he will be more razor sharp than he was before. He'll be pinpoint. I hope that Fury has a game plan as to how to nullify that power. And the only way I see him nullifying that power is to take that right hand away. But he's also got a very good jab that Wilder has that sets it up. He's got to take that right hand away. So Fury fights to represent a fighting breed of people. Wilder fights for a nation of people who faced injustice. That, from an American standpoint, an American's perspective, is where it's at. Again, nobody gives me credit for when I say these things, and I don't expect it because I'm not waiting for credit. Sometimes these things are too real for people, but that's what this fight is. That's what this fight is. The battle of wills. It's a great fight on paper. The nastiness that comes with it, unfortunately, is a reflection of the world that we live in today. Now, I hope to see a great fight. I hope that both men after this fight can go back to their families safe and well. And if it's a great fight, we can get a rematch. That's it for me. If people want to know my motives, that's it for me. But in terms of the historical aspects of this fight, where Wilder's mindset is, after what I've seen from the press conference, to what I know of Wilder, and to what I know of Fury, it's a view of a commentator. Just another commentator. Just another person on YouTube. That's what it is. Am I right? Am I wrong? I don't know, and I don't care. Just an opinion. You can take it or you can let it alone. I'm not here to be agreed with. I'm not here to get points. I'm not here to satisfy your needs. I'm not here for any of those things. Media outlet, we don't just cover boxing. Boxing is just one of the things we cover. And it's so much more than just BWTM sports. The community work, with people that look like myself and people that don't look like myself. Look, hey, this weekend we're going to, this weekend there's a big event in Leeds. Jack Sunderland has a boxing event this weekend. Okay? Look at this. This weekend, this Saturday, Jack Sunderland's got an event this weekend. Some brilliant kids there, brilliant top boxers there. So this isn't about, for me, one color or another color. I want to make it clear. It's not about that. And that's never been my situation there. So, okay. Let's see what here. Okay, now let's see. Now I've said what I have to say. So now, of course, it's about engagement. So let's hear what you've got to say and your thoughts on this. So the racism relates to the media and institutional racism. Oh, okay, that obviously exists. Do you honestly think that Fury doesn't have a game plan in mind? Said I hope. I said I hope that he's got a game plan to deal with what's coming. That I hope he does. That's all I'm saying. Personally, I can't take serious your theory. He's fighting for against 400 years of slavery and oppression when he was at the White House shucking and jiving. Interesting you say that, Tom. Interesting you say that. He had a chance to make a statement, but did it in favor of photo opportunity. Maybe he felt at the time, again, it's open to debate. Maybe he felt at the time, well, I haven't got the position that I've got now. Now I'm fighting what Fury. That's a statement itself. I beat Fury. If you'd beaten Fury and went to the White House, it'd have been an interesting situation. But he hasn't beaten Fury yet. If he beats Fury, that puts him in a different sort of stratosphere. Becomes a global superstar, if you want to say that, if he beats Fury. We are here to listen to you, but this went a different way than I was expecting. Um, I know, but it's to open up the conversation. If I say the same as what everyone else is saying, then guess what? We get the same thing. So I'm throwing different things up here, right? So again, it's an opinion. It's something I see. This is something I'm viewing. Irish have been oppressed quite a bit as well. Foolish ones to see what Fury as another white man. Color does not replace personality. Yeah, I agree with that to some extent. To some extent, I agree with that. To some extent. Fury does not look 100%, but I think he has the skills to win on points. Somewhere, keep saying to people, somewhere in this bout is going to get touched. Somewhere in this fight is going to get touched, people. All these other guys were able to hit Fury. Fury said he's looking for a guy to knock him out. He's got the right man for the job right there, who would be more than willing to do the job. Here we go. Do you make anything of Roach saying Fury is naturally left-handed and has decent power in the southpaw stance as a result, Ingram? Yeah, I would agree with that. I would agree with it because Fury for years have been. I've heard stories of Fury boxing southpaw or being able to box southpaw. When I first talked to Fury, now this is going back a bit. You go back and check out an interview I did with Fury just before the Chisora fight, the second fight, and he said to me, you see this guy here, Ingram, he's one of the most knowledgeable guys in boxing. And then he turned and said, I have a surprise for you. He says, I'm going to do something for you. I'm going to show you something. I said, what's that? I said, because I said, you're vulnerable to the right hand, particularly guys who are 6'2" and below. That's where you seem to lose the vision of the right hand over the top. Over the top. You seem to be vulnerable to that against guys 6'2" and below. That's how you got knocked down by Nevin Pajcek. That's how you got dropped by Steve Cunningham. The overhand right, you don't see it coming. He said, I'm going to do something. What did he do that night? He turned southpaw and took the right hand completely away from Derek Chisora in a masterclass performance. But he's never fought an athlete like Wilder. Never. Don't get me wrong, Ingram. I don't always agree with your opinion, but the respect is there. Yeah, hey, listen, this is all I want, all I desire when I put these videos out is healthy conversation, debate, and a bit of entertainment. That's what it is. You know, you've got an opinion, I've got an opinion. What I don't appreciate is the disrespect. The disrespect. That's what I don't appreciate. We've all got an opinion. I could get it right. I could get it wrong. But when I get it right, hey, give me credit when I get it right. And when I get it wrong, hey, yeah, I'm the first to put my hand up and say I get it wrong. So, yeah. Klitschko's a much better boxer than Wilder. Here's the thing about Klitschko. Which Klitschko are we talking about? Are we talking about old Klitschko? I mean, you all seem to give Klitschko a lot of credit. But Fury himself said Klitschko was an old man. So I don't understand. This is the same Klitschko that got blasted out of there by Corey Sanders. The same Klitschko that got knocked out by what's the other guy's name? Klitschko had been knocked out on more than one occasion. So people talk about Klitschko like he was some monster of a fighter. Klitschko was a good fighter. He wasn't great. Afternoon, Rob. He's definitely something Fury has not seen before. He hasn't. And Fury's calling out and saying, Wilder can't knock him out. No, Wilder can knock him out. Wilder could seriously injure him. You're talking about a guy who wants to put people in body bags. That kind of talk. It's the kind of talk It's red alert talk. This isn't no hype talk. I don't know if Fury's still in hype mode, but this is serious talk here. This is serious danger here, guys. Serious danger. Rob says, you gotta also understand the Klitschko makeup was very defensive. Now, for the record, and if people want to know, James Ali Bashir, Uncle James Ali Bashir, predicts Wilder knocks Fury out inside 9 rounds. That's his thought on the fight. Klitschko knocked Wilder down twice in sparring, and Wilder couldn't continue. LOL. Mini ramp tricks and tips. That interview with James Ali Bashir, where it originally came from, again, not being given credit, BWTM or Bayloric TV, came from us originally. Don't tell me the story. I know the story because I covered the story. It was one of our interviews. James Ali Bashir, in fact, it was the first or second interview with James Ali Bashir, that interview. And also, if you want to go that far, he also talks about Anthony Joshua sparring. He also talked about Dillian White and Anthony Joshua getting into something. So don't tell me about something that I did a report on. Don't tell me about I'm the person who did the interview. I'm the person that got the information. So don't tell me about what happened with Klitschko and Wilder. Please don't. And that was many years ago. Many years ago. So don't come and tell me that rubbish. It was only last September he was pissed, fat and coked up at the Parker build up. Now he's fighting Wilder. Now, for those of you who are honest, and have been with me been with BWTM on the journey for the last year or so, did I not say, I hope to God that Fury doesn't take two warm-up fights against people that don't matter and get thrown in a world title fight? Did I not say this? See, this is where people don't give credit where it's due. Mini ramp tricks and tips. Thank you very much. I appreciate that. Yeah, Tyson said that. But Tyson was on the channel a similar time. That was an interview. That, if you remember, if you go back into the history of not this channel, go on to Bayloric BWTM News and check out. In fact, don't do that. Go on to the you can type in James Ali Bashir Wilder sparring. Go and check that video out and look at the date that was on that video. All these people that come out afterwards and report it afterwards never quote the original source of where it came from. Check when that date came out. It was in 2013 that interview was done. Go and check the interview there. So yeah, he was dropped twice, but that came out of that interview from that time. The source is Andy Lee. Yeah, where did Andy Lee get the information from? It doesn't matter in sparring. Don't mean that sparring is something, but you've also got to check out the time or when it happened. Listen, Joshua got dropped in sparring by David Price. Joshua got dropped in sparring. It depends when and where it happened and how it happened, and it's still sparring. So these stories, Andy Lee didn't get the story. I got the story from James Ali Bashir. Gotta go, friends. Gotta go. But we'll check out the rest of the stream. Past tense. Yes, please do, brother. I still think Fury's going to get. Andy Lee was in the camp. Yeah, he was in the camp, wasn't he? He was indeed in the camp. But James Ali Bashir was in the camp as well. And Andy Lee didn't do an interview about it at the time. James Ali Bashir did the interview back in 2013. So yeah, I did hear that story about Fury getting knocked down by White twice in sparring. I did hear about that as well. I heard about Joshua roughing up sparring. But I also heard a story about Tyson Fury knocking Joe Joyce out in sparring. It's believable, but it doesn't matter. Klitschko dropped Wilder twice in sparring. What, back in 2013, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18. That's 5 years ago. 5 years ago. If this fight goes 12 rounds, damn, that Fury would have done something. Fury would have had to nullify Wilder's punching power. Yes, Trap House Boxing, brother. How you doing? Hope you're well. Hope you're good. I think Fury's going to get robbed. If Fury goes 12 rounds with Wilder, that in itself is a huge achievement. It's a huge achievement because I don't see those legs holding out for 12 rounds. I just don't. The draw, 33 to 1, the draw, put up 250, 250 on LOL. Okay, there's a possibility. But if it goes to 12 rounds, Fury would have done something great. Wilder was in the Oval Office with Trump celebrating the pardon of Jack Johnson for the race-driven crime and imprisonment. Stop the misdirection. Thank you very much for that. That's why I didn't comment on that. But I did mention World Breaker. I don't know if you heard it earlier on, and thank you for being in the room. I did mention that Wilder also being in the room, Wilder would have a bigger platform if he knocked out Fury, a much bigger platform. Historical, not political for Wilder, yes. If you believe you have any knowledge on the type of man Fury is, you would know he wouldn't be bullshitting in front of the press yesterday saying Klitschko dropped Wilder. I did the report. Jesus, I did the report. I knew it. I did the interview. Don't come and tell me what the interview I did, please. The crazy narrative is Tyson schools Wilder easy work. If Wilder wins, it's a cherry pick and he gets no credit. Insane. It's shaking my head. Yeah, of course you're insane. I genuinely believe you and Chinny could go 12 rounds with both Furies. I'm not getting into that conversation. I'm not getting into that conversation. But what I am getting into is please quote the facts for what they are. Don't be like the rest of the media. Do your homework and find out where that original information came from. Andy Lee. Okay. Okay. All right. Andy Lee gave you the fair enough. Fair enough. Andy Lee. I know it was James. I know it was James Elibashir, the trainer at the time in the ring at the time when the sparring was going on. James Elibashir, the assistant trainer to Vladimir Klitschko. You did a great interview, granted, but the source to Fury's camp was Andy Lee. Really? You believe that? So, okay, you believe that then. A bigger platform. The UK has 65 million people, about 10 million more people than California. Small market. Let's be factual. Yes. Tyson seems, yeah, of course, brother. If I can find it, yeah, we go. Let me just get this so I can bring you in the room. The biggest fight before this one. That's an interesting one. The biggest fight before this one. I personally would say Lewis Tyson. Lewis Tyson, or Holyfield. Lewis Tyson, Lewis Holyfield, Tyson Holyfield. Those are fights. Just trying to get this thing to load up to get the hangout through. Wait, my problems get to my hangout. Let me try this instead. Let me try this way. Well, let me send it that way. Let me see if I can send this one. Just set you an invite. Right, good. Loaded up now. Just waiting for the hangout thing to come through. Bear with me a second, people. Did you get the link? Send the link to you. He sees a threat. That's why he's got the bid. For me, like most people, if Fury isn't 100% fit, if I'm right, then Wilder will win. Hopefully next year, though I doubt now the fight will happen. Joshua and Wilder will fight out to see who's the best. And Fury does get hit. Hello. Wilder won't win a round. Okay. Fury gets hit and Wilder's going to hit him. I played basketball against a guy who lost a ton of weight. Man, his balance was so bad. Wow. This is M. Reynolds. Interesting. The thing for me is Fury's lost all that weight. What is his durability like? I always thought with Fury, the only way to beat him is to get him early because you won't outbox him. He comes on stronger as the fight goes on. Yeah. Holyfield versus Tyson, I think I would say that. Or even Holyfield versus Lewis for the undisputed title. Maybe the rematch because of the uproar of the first fight. Pianetta hitting Fury out well. I know he was. And in shape Fury, I mean. That's what I'm saying. That's exactly my point there. Fury's gonna get hit. Unless he finds some way of knocking Wilder out in the first five, he's gonna get hit. Hold on. He's gonna get hit. Hold on a second. Let me just. There we go. There we go. Hopefully that will go through now. There you go, chat. I've just sent it through to you. Yeah, I've sent it. You got it. I got it. Sent it to you. So biggest fight in 20 years plus. Yeah, I think. Well, the biggest heavyweight fight. Yes, biggest heavyweight fight. Yeah, I'd say so. It depends on what you consider big. I don't know what the figures were, but Tyson versus Lewis. That's got to be one of the biggest fights in heavyweight boxing. Yeah, ever since Joshua became a superstar, the UK fans have discredited the heavyweight division, calling everyone bums and showing off about ticket sales and purses. Yeah, well, of course they would. Of course they would, because a lot of these people are following the narrative of the promoter. That's what they got to do. That's what you call divide and conquer, that kind of crap. There you go. You got it now. Sent it to you. Sent it to you, World Breakers. We're just waiting for you to get in the room. No? Odd. Let's try again. Okay. Copy. Let's do this again. Let's try this again. Try this now. There we go. Let's try that one. So it's always great when it comes to big fight time. I always like to hear American perspective of things to kind of make things balanced out. Joshua versus Klitschko was a bigger fight. Come on, man. And the fight is nowhere near the scale of Holyfield Tyson, though. It should have sold out a month ago. You're in the room, brother. I think I can hear you. Yep. Make sure we can hear you.
What's up, bro?
We'll break. You in the room?
I am, sir. How are you?
I'm good, brother. How are you doing?
Pretty good.
It's great to have an American perspective. So I'm going to shut up for a second and I can have American talk about American perspective.
Okay. I'll start with this. We in the United States have been very excited about this fight. A lineal champion versus the current WBC champion is very exciting. A guy that won. Yeah, I got some feedback. Is that affecting your side?
No, I can hear you. You go ahead. Maybe.
Okay. Yeah. We've been very excited about this, and up until yesterday, everything was relatively cool. But some events happened, but I won't reflect on that right now. This is the way I look at things from my own personal perspective. We have in Tyson Fury a gentleman that hasn't fought since he won the title from Vladimir Klitschko. Subsequently, we know the history after that. He took some time off, had some personal stuff, and I'll leave it at that. It's been roughly 3 years since he's had a bout. In that time, Deontay Wilder won his belt 3 months before, and then subsequently had 7 title defenses and consistency. And this is how I'm looking. I'm looking at it from a standpoint of activity versus actuality. I also look at it from a standpoint of a person that won a title but never defended a title on the Tyson Fury side. I look at it from a guy who's won a title and defended it 7 times on the Wilder side. So the way I look at it is the guy that's fighting consistently has a serious advantage to the guy that has been inactive. Also to that effect, when you have 7 title defenses, you have championship experience. Okay. You have championship experience. You've been through struggles. We know in Deontay Wilder's last fight, he was struck by Luis Ortiz in a way that should have dropped many men, maybe knocked him out, but he was able to weather the storm. He was able to keep his bearings and continue until he got a decisive strike to the face. Honestly, we haven't seen Tyson Fury in those conditions. Okay. And again, I'm not looking at this as a fanboy because I'm not a fanboy. I analyze boxing. I see it for what it is. I see some difficulties that Tyson Fury can pose for Deontay Wilder. As far as the type of style that he employs, but also at the same time, I see those same difficulties magnified through Deontay Wilder with the level of athleticism that he faces. Also, the speed of the gentleman that he's facing. I've watched just about all of Tyson Fury's fights, and I've watched about 30 Deontay Wilder fights. Tyson Fury hasn't faced a gentleman like this at all. Not to mention that the punches come from very odd angles and they're coming very hard. People think that Deontay Wilder just has a right hand. He probably has the hardest left jab in the business too. Just go look at the Molina fight where he hurt his hand and he had to beat a guy with his left hand. Okay. I'm looking at this thing like I was a betting man. Okay. And again, you bet on consistency. You don't bet on on long shots in anything. So I understand from the UK side, there's a sense of supporting your own. Is definitely on this side. In the Wilder case. Now the other components, the racial components that are really that have really heightened since yesterday. The tension that's heightened since yesterday. That's I saw in the press conference, and we watched it through Showtime and not BT because Showtime is here in the States. Everything else is secondary after Showtime, since Showtime is showing the event. We saw, I'll say in the Showtime stream where I watched it on YouTube, I saw a lot of racial stuff. I saw a lot of stuff from the UK. I saw a lot of stuff from the United States. I saw a lot of N-words. I saw a lot of monkeys. I saw a lot of derogatory terms. But also at the same time, when these things come up in our community, then people attempt to shame. They attempt to denigrate us. There's always been a racial element to boxing that goes back 130 years. Okay, if you're a historian of the sport of boxing, you would know that it is not new. It is not changed. It's just things kind of adjust themselves throughout time. But what I saw yesterday in the Showtime chat was awful. It was absolutely awful, and it shows what is in the interior of people's hearts. Now, to go on further, what we also saw yesterday, in my opinion, was a guy that was ready to fight. Ingram knows my background. He knows that I deal with people on a frequent basis. That's been my career in life. I can't say I'm a master of reading body language and understanding people, but other people would say that. What I saw yesterday were two different individuals. I saw Deontay Wilder in bronze bomber mode, if you want to say it. When you look in his eyes through his shades, that's not the normal Deontay Wilder. That's fight ready Deontay Wilder. What I saw in Tyson Fury, in my personal opinion, and you can disagree, I saw a gentleman that wasn't as dialed in. I don't know if Tyson Fury is really understanding the level of intensity. Well, I don't know if he understood it at the beginning of the press conference. I think he understood it by the end of the press conference. And that's what, if you're objective, and it's kind of hard to be objective in these situations when you got a hometown boy and the other place has a hometown boy and they're supporting it. But if you're looking at it objectively, I think one guy is very tuned in, and I think the other guy is just there. And again, this is coming from a guy that's I've seen just about all of Tyson Fury's fights. If I were a betting man, I'm a bet on the favorite in this one. If I were a betting man, I would take into account the Radio Raheem interview that occurred yesterday that just really pissed Wilder off. Okay, some people can get pissed. A lot of people get pissed off and they become unfocused. They become discombobulated. Other people get pissed and they get real focused. What I saw from Deontay Wilder was a guy that is extremely focused. I don't know if Tyson Fury is nearly as focused as Deontay Wilder is. I actually saw when they were face to face, Deontay Wilder. I don't think it wasn't intentional, but I think he poked Tyson Fury in the eye a little bit. I saw some things in the midst of all of that indicated to me. This is before Tyson Fury removes his shirt and starts playing to the crowd. I saw things that kind of, I think, surprised Fury. That really surprised Fury, kind of caught him off guard. And I'm giving you my real and honest assessment, void of any type of bias. I'm looking at people's body language. I'm looking at intensity. I'm looking at, again, I'm from Texas. I'm from the South. in the United States. I understand Deontay Wilder a lot more than a lot of people will. I understand Deontay Wilder's frustration. I understand what the media has done to Deontay Wilder in the United States. This fight for Deontay Wilder means more than a fight. It's more than career definement. It's more than acceptance. It's about respect. Okay? And a man that's seeking respect is a very dangerous man. Okay? People talk about people have brought about a lot of racial stuff that we haven't been seeing in this fight really until the last couple of days. I know that I've seen a viral increase of derogatory comments on my own channel, a sudden influx of dislikes, because people feel a certain type of way. People just feel a certain type of way, and you can't understand it until you go through it. You know, in a country where this week alone we've lost 2 African American males to dubious circumstances. This happens every day in our society. This is normal for us. People take it lightly, but it's not. This has been happening repeatedly. Deontay Wilder represents people in the United States who, no matter how much they talk about it or shout about it, their circumstances are relegated to side business. And so for what Deontay Wilder represents in the African American community is akin to Muhammad Ali. Because I'm going to tell you something, as a person that knows the history of boxing, Muhammad Ali was treated very similarly, actually worse than Deontay Wilder has been treated by the media. People didn't like Muhammad Ali. People didn't want Muhammad Ali to be champion. People weren't ready for Muhammad Ali's statements and honesty and perspectives. It was only after Muhammad Ali started to show signs of debilitation that people started to like him. Okay? It was only signs after some years passed from the turbulent 60s and the early 70s that people started to appreciate Muhammad Ali. People forget that Muhammad Ali had a 3-year layoff because the United States government was trying to keep him from fighting and not represent as the United States, as a champion from the United States, because he had a religious objection to the Vietnam War. That was their reasoning, but there was a lot of racial connotation behind it. And that's just real talk. If you think I'm lying, go read your history. Those are the facts. Okay? Muhammad Ali refused to be a puppet. He spoke out against it, and he was shunned and shamed in every way imaginable, including his financial and economic status. Okay? And to think that hasn't continued today when people speak out, to think that hasn't continued today when people have taken stances and put themselves in certain positions, that's insane. And you're not being honest with yourself. You know,
brother Adonis, can I interject just for a second?
Go ahead, bro.
I made some statements earlier about what Deontay Wilder is seeing when he sees Tyson Fury. People say it's my opinion. This is not my opinion. When Wilder looks at Fury, he sees the 400 years of oppression and the whole ancestry thing. He sees the blocks, the people that have blocked him look like Fury. Maybe not Fury himself, but that's what he's seen. That is who he's looking at. He's seen that's an opportunity for him to get through his gateway to be respected.
This is what happened. Tyson Fury mentioned 200 years of traveler oppression first. And so that's when Deontay Wilder responded with 200 years for your people, 400 years of struggle for my people, and we still struggling. That's what he said. It was in response to something that Tyson Fury stated. Before that, there was no mention. I don't remember any recollection or recollect any mention of race or anything alluding to oppression before that particular circumstance. That was during the face off. That's when things started to get very contentious and serious. And so that's when that started. And then the Radio Raheem guy, after they get off stage, asked he asked a question that anyone outside of our culture would probably think it was a normal question, but considering the source in which it came from, it was a very it was a question coming from Benedict Arnold. Okay, and in our country, Benedict Arnold is a treacherous man. He was a traitor to the British. In the UK, he was awarded land and title, if I remember correctly. So in the UK,
the kind of guy that sells you down the river that looks like you.
Exactly. That's on your side, but not on your side, and will betray you to your enemies.
There you go. That's it.
And so, at the end of the day, that's why that tone in that interview changed. Because
but hold on, I want to add something else. Fury made a statement. He was quoted in saying that he would like Donald Trump to walk him out to the ring. Now, to me, that would incite even more fire to certain people in America because of how Trump is seen and the sort of comments Trump has made.
Trump is racist in every term except mentioning the word that he's racist. All of Trump's actions dated from the 80s and the 70s. Trump had a class act. I'm sorry, I thought you spoke.
No.
Hey, Tone, Radio Raheem wasn't being asinine. He was being Radio Raheem. But real talk, Donald Trump has a history of systemic racism throughout his business career and now in his political career. In the 1970s, him and his father, Fred Trump, a class action lawsuit was filed against them for discriminatory residential practices, where they were purposely excluding African Americans from taking up residence in their properties. They kept black people from renting and buying their properties. And so I forget how long the class action lawsuit took before it was settled, but it was quite a number of years. In the 80s, 4 black males were accused of raping and killing a woman. And Donald Trump took out a full-page ad in the newspaper to convict these 4 young black males. Turns out the 4 young black males were completely innocent. Donald Trump never retracted his statements. Donald Trump kept pushing a campaign. And I'm only highlighting a few incidents. There are a lot more. In 2009, Donald Trump started the birther conspiracy or controversy against President Obama, saying that he wasn't born in the United States. And even when the facts came out to the contrary, he continued to perpetuate the lie. Okay. And since his election, he has presided over some of the most racially provocative incidents in the United States since the 1960s and early 70s. The incident in Virginia, where a white supremacist ran over a protester with a car. This was Ku Klux Klan and skinheads and other white supremacist groups rallying where they had counter protesters coming up. Charlottesville, I think, is the name of the town. Okay, and a guy jumped in his car, literally jumped in his car at a high speed. It's on video. You can watch it if you want to understand the level of racism in our country. This guy ran over this woman with his car and did not stop. In fact, he ran over or hit her. He backed up to escape. What's crazy? This young white woman that he hit was protesting racism. He didn't have a heart for her. So there have been many, many policies that Donald Trump has presided over that have been detrimental to minorities in the United States. This is continuous. This is not. This didn't end with slavery. This didn't end with the civil rights movement. This didn't end. It's just metamorphosized into other things. And now, since the election of Trump, it's been reinvigorated and heightened. It's made people come out of hiding who were hiding their sentiments. It's all been exacerbated with the election of this guy. The tone has changed in our country. Where we were in a situation of hope a few years ago, now we're in a situation of hate. People at the border seeking asylum. A country like the United States that has always been a bastion of asylum for the downtrodden, for the oppressed outside the country. Now is all of a sudden the borders are shut down. While 50,000 illegal. Go ahead.
Dennis, you can take this question. I think it'd be better you take it. It says, surely he sees the opposition in front of him, not 400 years of oppression.
Say it one more time, Ingram. I was reading something.
Says, Ingram, surely he sees the opposition in front of him. This is Wilder to Tyson Fury, not 400 years of opposition.
I think this is respect at the end of it. I think all of that is a part of it, but ultimately, all of that angst is represented in respect.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and see, I disagree with CCR 2971 and Tyrone Smith. I think you guys are really uninformed and uneducated in what's going on in my country. I don't know where you're from, and the president has a lot to do with it. Tyrone Smith. Again, this is why we speak out on these things. I'm no politician. I'm not anything. I don't really even like to delve into these issues. Okay, but this is the thing. Truth is truth. Facts are facts. Everything I just stated to you is facts. I don't care what you have to say about it. You can look up my facts for yourselves to verify what I'm saying. Okay? And listen, I'm a successful man, and I faced a lot of racism in my life. I face it on a daily basis. I've literally been in 3-piece $10,000 suits and been asked where dope is at. Where can I get crack cocaine from white males?
Hey, listen. Well, I deal with it as well. I deal.
Hey, hold on, Ingram. Listen, I don't. Tyra Smith, bro. I'm not playing no left issue. I'm a black man in America. Fuck that left shit, bro. See, this is what I have a problem with. People they can't come to they can't draw conclusions, and they can't accept and face facts. They can't accept the perspective of other people. So what happens is it becomes a left and a right issue. I'm not a Democrat, okay? I'm not a Democrat nor a Republican. In fact, I'm gonna keep it real with you. I voted for a Republican lieutenant governor in the state of Texas because my taxes would be lower on my home. I actually own my home, okay? So don't play that fuck shit that you're trying to play with right now, okay? See, that's the thing. You subscribe to teams because you need to, apparently. I'm my own man. I think independently. So I hate when people try to pigeonhole me who don't understand me or don't want to understand anything. Listen, you can live in your little bubble all you want. You can dwell there. Okay? I live in a reality. I live in a situation. I have a son in one of the most prestigious schools in the country. Okay? And my son faces these issues as well. It doesn't matter how educated. Listen, Tyrone, bro, you're gonna get zapped on this channel. I just told you where I stand. Okay? This ain't been going on for years. This has been going on since before the inception of the country. Okay? If slavery was 250 or 270 years, it's going to take just as long to eradicate the same type of behaviors. Okay? Do you understand for what you give, the same is to take? Everything's even. So again, let me educate you on boxing. Boxing is a racially motivated sport. It has been since the beginning. That's why black fighters weren't allowed to be at the precipice of boxing in its inception. That's why it took a Jack Johnson to come in and become the first black heavyweight champion in the early 1900s, because they were being suppressed. And that's why another black champion didn't exist for 30 years until Joe Louis. Okay. Why don't you study up on the history of boxing, bro? Why don't you also understand? Why don't you also understand that during Jack Johnson's reign, Jack Johnson, in order to keep that belt, had to keep other black fighters from taking a shot at the belt. Fighters that were possibly better than him. Okay? Because that heavyweight status meant a lot socially. Jack Johnson was able to conduct himself in a way that most black people were not able to. Yeah, Tyrone Smith, fuck your bullshit, bro. I'm telling you what is now. Okay? Okay? I'm telling you what is now. I know you don't want to hear it because you have your fingers in your ears and your hands over your eyes. Listen, I'm not a sensitive dude. And I call out bullshit racism when I see it. And I also call out fallacies. I'm a very even-keeled individual. You don't see me talking to you. I'm bringing you facts. I'm sorry you don't want to hear facts. You want to hear what you want to hear, and that's why your ass got blipped. Okay, this is real talk. If you want real talk, you come for real talk. You open your mind. You open your ears. You hear the entire story. When you start talking about left wing, right wing, I know where you stand. That means you said what? Yeah, you're married to a dogma. I'm here. Can you hear me?
I can hear you. We can all hear you.
I'm here. Yes. I'm here, bro. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. We can all hear you.
Okay. I had some interference. I hit the wrong button.
Okay,
but this is the thing. I've wrote papers on this. I've done a lot of things. If you notice this, if you're white in America and you act like you don't understand, you're being white in America. I have so many white friends in my life that understand the plights of African Americans, knowledgeably educated people. It tends to be this that I've observed in my life. The more educated you are, the more you're aware of social classism, racism, or whatever else you want to define it as. It seems like the poorer and more uninformed you are, the more likely you are to hold these thoughts that things aren't right, or that things are right, and that people are overreacting.
I want to hear your thoughts on two people in this. Wilder's trainer, who's white, and what's his name? Shelly Finkel. Somebody thinks that I mentioned something about how Wilder probably perceives Fury or sees Fury for this fight. It's all about respect. That's what it comes down to. And you're absolutely right. Somebody said, "Oh yeah, but then Shelly Finkel's a white man and his trainer's a white man."
Yep,
that's a laugh.
Yeah. So what? That's the business of boxing. You go with people like to mix up things. They like to pull things to avoid and deflect from what is. Okay. That's the problem. People don't want to face facts because facts hurt, because facts can't be disputed. And if they are disputed, they're usually disputed with facts. Most people dispute facts with emotions and beliefs. Those are very different things. Okay? You can dispute a fact with a fact, but you can't dispute a fact with a belief. And I think people are very unaware of that. Okay? And while I'm on this chat, if you're saying stupid stuff, you're going to get blanked. Now, Ingram might release you from your block.
I don't know about that.
But I'm just saying, I'm gonna block your ass, because if you're talking stupid, I'm not gonna answer stupid questions. Because hey, you guess which people did this and did that that applauded on the Ricky Lake show, like this one guy said. Listen, bro, if you got to pick something, that means you have no understanding of the climate that you're in because you're not in the climate. You're an outside observer with no understanding. I don't want to make this a racial issue. That's not what I'm about. But I have,
and this isn't a racial issue, but it's just stirring up some proper facts that some people are misguided into believing. And a lot of these people that are listening are people that listen to Sky Sports punditry and think that's the big news. That is it. If Sky said it, then that's got to be the truth, and it isn't.
Right, and it's just like when I point out to the Anthony Joshua thing. When I first saw Anthony Joshua, I liked Anthony Joshua. A lot of black people like Anthony Joshua in the United States. But then we realized that Anthony Joshua is not in control of his own destiny. Anthony Joshua doesn't call his own shots. Anthony Joshua goes silent when he's called out. Okay? That is the truth. That is the facts. Fuck the truth. It's the facts.
That's why he won't come to America, because he'd get called out.
Right. And so I'm trying to let people in the UK know these are the facts. Anthony Joshua doesn't have control of his career. And if he does, you shouldn't have someone like Eddie Hearn speak through you, because Eddie Hearn says the wrong things. He conveys the wrong message.
Do you think Lennox Lewis would have allowed himself to get called out that way and not turn up to see a fight?
Did Lennox Lewis ever do that? No.
Never.
So that's your answer. And that's what makes Lennox. But again, how respected is Lennox Lewis in the UK really? Because the way I remember it, Lennox gravitated to the States immediately. Okay. And he never really went back. He still lives on this side of the world. Okay. So Lennox Lewis learned his plow in Canada, not in the UK. Okay. He by birth, he is a UK citizen, but by career, he's more North American.
But look at Bruno. Bruno was the darling, but look how the media treated him.
Right. Right. And they will treat Anthony Joshua the same way as soon as something happens.
It's only a matter of time. Only a matter of time.
Right. Yeah. Anthony Joshua was the darling until he loses. Anthony Joshua was the darling until something terrible happens, or something even slightly bad happens. Okay. The reason why Deontay Wilder is so respected in one community is not because he's black. It's because he stands up for himself. He stands up for his community. He does what he says he's going to do.
His own man. That's what he's his own man, and he doesn't jive to other people's commentary. That's what it is. And
exactly.
Get the respect he deserves in America, because the American media have basically shut him out. By knocking out Fury, they've got no choice but to accept him. And if he wipes out Joshua as well, then he is considered the man, regardless of what anyone else may think and believe.
Right. But this is the crazy thing, Ingram. If you're unbiased boxing fan, a truly unbiased boxing fan, when you weigh the accomplishments of Tyson Fury to Deontay Wilder to Anthony Joshua, honestly, and I'm talking about for everything from CompuBox stats to win-loss records to strength of competition, Deontay Wilder has the stronger resume out of all three of those fighters. It's a fact.
But you know what? But you know what? They're going to turn around and pull up this thing and tell you about the Klitschko. Oh, well, you didn't fight Klitschko. You didn't fight Klitschko. Wilder didn't fight Klitschko. That's what they'll say. But they'll openly tell you about Fury's win over Klitschko. But Fury himself said he was an old man. Fury himself is an old man.
Yep. But
they call Klitschko all-time great, but he'd been knocked out so many times. But they don't want to see that. He's an all-time great.
But again, all those statements get pushed to the side. You know, people act like these things aren't stated. You know, I see Ibrahim and it says that there's nothing wrong with Joshua. I get fed up with all the constant verbal bashing and witch hunts. As far as I'm concerned, Joshua's conduct in public, at least, is his conduct. Ain't no coward. See, Ibrahim, this is where I disagree with you. I voraciously disagree with you. Okay. This is why I disagree with you. Anthony Joshua set the terms of a fight with Deontay Wilder. We're just going to stick to that one issue. Anthony Joshua actually set the terms on video. It cannot be refuted. He set the terms. Okay. And you can cap for him all you want, but I'm gonna keep it real with you. And I am a Texan, so I am I am sometimes become because I'm a Texan. Okay, so Anthony Joshua set the tone. $50 million guaranteed. I want $50 million and I'll fight Deontay Wilder. I'll sign on the dotted line. It's something to that effect is what he said.
Yeah. Yeah.
It is verified that he was sent proof of funds. It cannot be disputed. Even Eddie Hearn said that proof of funds were sent. Eddie Hearn has said this. There's a video of him saying that. Okay. When things came down to the nitty gritty, to putting your money where your mouth was, all of a sudden there were a whole bunch of caveats. There was a whole bunch of this, and that. All of a sudden there were signatures on contracts that weren't Anthony Joshua's being sent. Okay, there's a whole bunch of talk. A real champion shows up to another champion's fights. Anthony Joshua's not doing it. Anthony Joshua said he was going to sleep.
Joshua blocked Wilder from being at his fight. You remember that? And said
right. That is a fact.
But did you notice that how Wilder was able to see Fury fight?
Hey, Abraham, I'm gonna tell you something. Or not, I don't ever talk about it, but I usually I know you got to defend your country, man. I don't have a problem with that. But again, you're speaking from a place of feelings. I'm speaking from a place of facts, and that's just real talk. Again, you see, I'm reading your statement. You says you and I and very few people know what truly went on. May stop talking with authority on a topic that you were not there to witness. It's all convoluted mess. All promoters are full of shit. See, that's the thing. You're talking in your feelings. I'm talking on stuff. Did I just not state that there's video? Did I not state that, Ingram? I said that repeatedly. There's video.
Ibrahim is one of those regular trolls that come into the room.
That's okay. Yeah. That's okay. But Ibrahim can't argue with facts, and that's why he's coming from a place of feelings. Because feelings, in turn, become beliefs. They're not facts. The fact is, Anthony Joshua was on camera saying those things. So you're calling Anthony Joshua a liar? Okay, Milty Swinbuckle, state Anthony Joshua's resume, and I'll pair it up against Wilder's. I'm going to show you how strong Anthony Joshua's resume is.
Well, Ingram, when was the last time fans felt AJ passed Wilder as the best heavyweight? After Fury gave it the belts, Wilder ultimately made to that position. That's what I said. So which fight or performance elevate AJ over Wilder? They're going to tell you the Klitschko fight. But I said on the basis of when the way Joshua beat Povetkin, I thought that may have made him the #1 heavyweight in the world, the way he took care of Povetkin in the end. Now, should Wilder destroy or beat Fury, I think that makes him the #1 fighter in the world, without doubt, because Fury was the man who beat the man. So not only Wilder was a reigning WBC champion, he then goes on and beats Fury. He's only got one man left to fight, which is Joshua. To me, once he gets Joshua out of the way, if he beats Joshua, that's it. Who else does he need to fight? Joseph Parker?
The crazy thing is, Luis Ortiz is universally considered top 3 heavyweight. Let's put it that way. I think he's top 2. He's considered a top 3 heavyweight. Well, but when Wilder beats him, there's this narrative, he beat an old man. Well, he beat an old man, but that old man was signed to Matchroom Boxing for 3 matches and was promised to fight Anthony Joshua, and that never occurred. That's a fact as well. Why did that occur? He had the opportunity to fight, or he was in line to fight Anthony Joshua. Now, people can say, he tested positive. I don't think he tested positive for a fight against Anthony Joshua. I can't remember who he tested positive against. Deontay Wilder for one. I can't remember the other fight. This is the thing. People are going to state what they want to believe because facts smash beliefs. Facts smash subjective thoughts.
And the other thing is those who control the media control the mind. Sky are or Eddie Hearn or Sky are in the pockets of one. They're in bed with one another. So the narrative is always going to be to promote Anthony Joshua as the best in the world, as it would be BT Sports to promote Wilder as not BT Sports, It'd be in the prerogative of BT to sport to promote Josh Fury as the best heavyweight in the world, as it probably would be for Showtime to promote Wilder to be the best heavyweight in the world. But I think I'm a bit more, what's the word, non-biased. I think they're a bit more of an open platform to say, well, Fury could beat Wilder, but Wilder is a deadly puncher. That's how it's been sold. But if you go to sports, like Joshua's number one, the best heavyweight in the world, without a shadow of a doubt. He beat Klitschko. Yeah, he beat Klitschko. He beat an old Klitschko, an older Klitschko, older than the one that Fury beat.
Well, let's pause on that, Ingram. Let's pause on that. Think about the Fury fight versus Klitschko and the Joshua fight versus Klitschko. Listen, Klitschko was 39 when he fought Fury. Fury discombobulated Klitschko. But Klitschko had, if you look at fights before the Fury fight, Klitschko looked like he had been declining. In fact, it's in statements from various news sources that Klitschko was declining. Okay. Generally, the general practice and belief is after the age of 37, 37 is usually it. Okay. After 37, you're going to crash. And
would you also believe there's talk of a potential Klitschko Joshua fight too next year?
You said what?
You heard that? You heard me there.
I heard about that. Yeah, I don't. But again, think about this. If that happens again, how can you listen? Is that not a effort to avoid the best competition again? Once again, we've known since May that Dillian White is going to fight Anthony Joshua April 4th, April 2019. We've known that since May. Because they've stated as much. Barry Hearn is on record, on recorded session, saying that they don't want to fight Deontay Wilder till 2020. And people still lap up this narrative that Eddie Hearn is actually trying to make a fight when Eddie Hearn doesn't even control Matchroom. He's essentially a fiduciary of his father. Again, I just see this. It's insanity that people want to purport to believe. I understand that you have to have a tall tale figure in your life. I understand that people have to have heroes and they don't want to see fallacies. Okay.
There will be a few unsubscribed from this channel by saying Wilder has a better resume.
Oh, well, shit. Prove me that Joshua has a better resume. That's what I want. I want people to actually prove it. In fact, I'll make it easy for you. I'm gonna state some facts right here, right now. Let's just compare Deontay Wilder versus Tyson Fury's resume. Last 10 fights. Okay. In his last 10 fights, Tyson Fury's opponents combined have 36 losses. 36 combined losses. In the last 10 fights, Deontay Wilder's opponents have 29 losses. Okay. Now, if you take one fight away, you take one fight off of that 10 fight caveat, you make it 9 fights. Tyson Fury literally goes down to 30 losses for all of his opponents, 9 opponents. Deontay Wilder goes down to 14. You know why? Because one of his opponents had 16 losses on his resume. That's a fact. You can box wreck that. Okay, you can box wreck the top 10 opponents that Deontay Wilder has had, that Tyson Fury has never had. You can also box wreck the 7 title defenses that Deontay Wilder had that Anthony Joshua doesn't have, and that Tyson Fury has never done. Tyson Fury won the belt, and then he imploded. That's a fact. I'm sorry if that bothers people who want to sell a narrative. I can't sell a narrative on facts. It's just the facts. Go box wreck it. Everything that I'm stating, you can go look up for yourself without anybody writing it, without anybody trying to switch your mind, without anybody trying to manipulate you. We just talking about the hard, cold facts. Tyson Fury statistically hasn't faced anyone at the level of opposition that Deontay Wilder has, and neither has Anthony Joshua. Show it to me. and I will recant my statement.
They're going to throw Klitschko at you.
Okay, and I'll throw Klitschko, and I'll throw that Klitschko bone. 39-year-old Klitschko, the same Klitschko in his prime that was knocked out by Ross Purity, that was knocked out by Corey Sanders, the same guy that was knocked out by Layman Brewster.
I mentioned this.
Okay,
they don't want to hear what I got to say.
Well, they gonna hear what I got to say, and I can give a fuck what they do after, because I'm just giving you the facts. I'm just giving you the facts. Anthony Joshua beat Dominic Big Titty Brazil. Come on, bro. Dominic Brazil is 19-1. Who has he fought besides Anthony Joshua?
I said that.
Okay, Anthony Joshua hasn't fought anybody, bro. Alexander Povetkin. Y'all, I haven't heard anybody talk about Povetkin's old age and PED scandals. Not during that Joshua fight. Boy, and I'm gonna tell you something. If Alexander hadn't a miss on a left hook in the second round, we wouldn't even be talking about Anthony Joshua right now. Everybody knows Alexander Povetkin is 39 years old, almost 40 years old, but he's not the caliber of fighter that Luis Ortiz is at 39.
Come on, guys. Track is a large percentage of why the fights were against cruiserweights.
Right. This is the thing. You can point out whatever you want to point out. These are the facts. Anthony Joshua, as stated on his own, will not fight outside the United Kingdom. He won't come to America. When he comes to America, we don't know who he is collectively. Hardcore boxing fans do, but the casual boxing fan does not. Yeah, Ibrahim, you are smoking that good grass, bro. Talking about Povetkin is amazing. Bullshit. Listen, everything you guys are stating doesn't support the facts of boxing history. I'm sorry to break it to you, but you don't have a history of UK heavyweight champions. That's the facts. Serious UK champions, except if you count Lennox Lewis. And we don't really count Lennox Lewis over here as a United Kingdom fighter. He was raised and taught how to box in Canada. Okay? I've seen Lennox Lewis on many occasions claim Jamaica and Canada. I remember, because I'm 39 years old, I remember when the UK wasn't showing love to Lennox Lewis. I remember it specific. Am I lying? Am I lying or misdirecting, Ingram?
No, he was Canadian. He was born in the UK. He actually went to my school, and then he left. His mum took him to Canada. He was from Forest.
He left at 12.
And he learned his trade in Canada. So I've always said, all these people talk about UK being from the UK. He actually came to America. He came to the UK and capitalized in the UK because the UK market was bigger than the Canadian market. That's why he came to the UK.
But this is the one thing I've always conceded, because again, I have to always be honest. I cannot cap for anybody. The UK fan base, pound for pound, is it's a bigger market for boxing as far as fan participation and commitment. It is not a more lucrative boxing market. It's dwarfed. But I guarantee you, the UK boxing market is barely bigger than the boxing market for Texas and California, just alone. Listen, you gotta pull your head out of the favoritism and become a fan of the sport and not a fan of the promoter.
The only way some of these guys understand is when their fighter gets brutally knocked out. That's the only time they understand. When they get brutally knocked out, when their fighter is laying on the canvas, that's when they come to understand. Other than that, they don't understand.
Okay, Ingram, check this out. CCR 2971 says, "I'll be honest. Hearn's promoting this fight in the UK, it would be 10 times bigger." Let me ask you this, CCR 2971. How can Hearn promote a bigger fight when he can't even win purse bids in the United States? He can't win Bob Arum cheap ass beat him in a purse bid this year. That's a fact. He's lost 3 or 4 purse bids that I know of. These are facts. Okay. He can't even. In fact, there was a Dillian White purse bid that he lost. And all of a sudden they changed. I think it was for Luis Ortiz or somebody else that I can't recollect. Lawrence Williams would know. But they lost the purse bid, and subsequently Dillian White made a different fight, or actually wiggled out of a fight. Also, if Hearn was able to to make something 10 times bigger in the UK, I believe you as far as fan participation and zealotry. Yes, because
What
the
I want
UK.
is, do you know what I want here? See, these people who are calling Wilder a bum. I want them to hold on to that statement. Hold on to it. Hold on to it. If Wilder is to turn around and knock Fury out, what are you going to say then? What would that make Fury?
Oh, they're going to say, well, Joshua's the real king. That's what they're going to say. We already know what their arguments are going to be. Again, I'm going to block stupidity because Ingram, BWTM, and let you not forget, I am the business director for BWTM. So I had that authority.
Amen.
Okay. So I know y'all don't know, but the way this thing goes, this is how we roll. We perpetuate facts, not ignorance. Okay. If you want to learn about the sport of boxing, when we're talking about the sport of boxing, come in here and learn and just learn. You don't have to agree with it, just learn. But I'm just going to be real with you. I'm not a touchy guy, but I hate stupidity. Willful stupidity is just not tolerable in my opinion.
See, let's say this. If you've got a narrative, keep that narrative. Don't change. See, a lot of people say they don't know shit about boxing. They're very quick to say that. These people that say that guy's shit, that guy's shit, that guy's shit, that guy's shit. All these guys go on to become world champions. I remember when people used to say to me, Usyk, who's Usyk? He's not a good fighter. He's crap. He's this. I said, this guy's going to be quality. You watch. Goes on and becomes undisputed cruiserweight champion of the world. Terence Crawford, who's he fought? Who's he beat? Oh, yeah, Ricky Burns is going to beat him. Okay, Terence Crawford, undisputed champion.
I'm gonna answer. Go ahead.
You keep that. Yeah. So we've got it there. Those are examples of people, and these people will call these people bums and ain't fought and look at resumes, but they can't recognize what a good fighter is. They won't recognize what a good fighter is.
Because they live in books and not in the street. That's the best way I can put it. This is the Ingram, you boxed growing up. I boxed growing up. I've been in the ring. Okay. I understand the fundamentals of boxing. I'm going to answer Ibrahim's statement. He says, I don't think Wilder's a bum. I admit, was not a big fan of him, but last year he has stepped up more. He's exciting mostly because of his flaws. This is the thing.
What?
I'm going to tell you a real truth. There was a guy who worked in Job Corps. Job Corps is for individuals. I don't know if they have a Job Corps in the UK, but Job Corps is for teenage individuals in the United States who are on the wrong side of the tracks, who often have criminal records already, trying to straighten out their lives. And it's a job training program that's endorsed by the US government. There was a member back in the 60s who found boxing while he was on Job Corps training for, I think to make industrial tools or something like that. So this guy found boxing within a year or two of finding boxing. He was in the Olympics and he won gold in 1968. That was George Foreman. Now, can you tell me that George Foreman and Deontay Wilder are not similar? Okay. Not in style, but in level of boxing acumen when you take a look at them. I want you to go back and take a look at George Foreman fights. Okay. George Foreman don't look pretty. He just does not look pretty in a fight. He's often out of position when he throws punches. He's often not in a good place. Well, he looks like he's swatting. What a lot of people don't know, there's actually different forms of boxing aside from the Queensberry tradition. But
a lot of these people you're talking to will say to you, Wilder's got no technique. You talk to about Mayweather. Oh, but Mayweather's boring. What do you want?
Hey, I'll answer it with this. Wilder has way more technique than you think. Exactly. Listen, again, you don't go to the Olympics after starting to box a year and a half before and win a bronze medal. Just like you don't start boxing 2 years prior to winning a gold medal in 1968. Sometimes ability trumps style, it trumps skill. George Foreman's entire career, I think George Foreman only has 5 or 6 losses out of 68 fights with 60 plus knockouts. Okay. And I'll put George Foreman's resume up against Vladimir Klitschko all day, every day. Level of competition, everything, because it's easy. It's easy. because it's not the same. I'll put George Foreman up against a lot of people. George Foreman, you can't say George Foreman did any particular thing except he was powerful. If you don't know boxing, oh man, that dude has gregarious power, you know. And this is a thing where people don't pay attention to Deontay Wilder. Deontay Wilder is patient as hell. That may be the best thing about Deontay Wilder, aside from the ridiculous athleticism that even George Foreman didn't possess. The fact that Deontay Wilder had the flu in his fight against Luis Ortiz and was 10 pounds lighter. Deontay Wilder was 214 pounds and knocked out a guy that was 250 pounds. Okay? You got to understand this guy is more than power. He's athleticism.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, Ibrahim, you must learn, bro. You're trying to find objections instead of finding the similarities. I point out the similarity. You're looking to find something to object to, but I'm giving you a comparison. I'm giving you the similarities and people that took up boxing very late in their career, in their lives.
I don't engage in conversation with Ibrahim because he does this all the time.
But that's the thing. Ibrahim, he doesn't have an argument, so he has to find one. Yeah. You can say no all you want. So since Ingram doesn't partake in conversating with you, I'm going to eliminate it because I did answer your question honestly. And that's just being, I pointed to you an example. Deontay Wilder cuts off the ring. Most of his knockouts are on the ropes. So how does he not cut off the ring? Again, you don't know what you're talking about, and it's showing. I'm sorry. Go watch fights. I watched tens of thousands of hours of fights probably in my life. Stop the madness. Stop the lack of education in the sport. Okay. We're here to propel the sport, not to demean it. I'm sorry that what I'm saying doesn't fit your belief structure. But again, this is beliefs over facts. Go check Wilder's resume. Most of his opponents fall on them ropes. If they get cornered, they get cornered. That's it. Luis Ortiz was inching. He was close to the ropes when he got counted out.
And Fury loves to fight with his back against ropes.
Right. And I hadn't even gone into an analysis of Fury's fight. And that's and again,
and with that low left hand against a guy who's going to be punching super fast, bad news.
This is the thing. Luis Ortiz is arguably the second hardest puncher in the division. Okay, he doesn't need combinations to knock your ass out. He has a straight left like Deontay Wilder has a straight right. Okay, and Luis Ortiz is in the Cuban tradition, so he is boxing wise. In my opinion, there's no one more skilled at heavyweight. I don't give a shit what you think. I'm telling you what I know. No one is more skilled than Luis Ortiz at heavyweight. And Luis Ortiz couldn't overcome it. Luis Ortiz was the fight that's like, wow, this might be it for Wilder. This might be it for Wilder. Because it almost happened. But
half the people that come on this channel talking their garbage came on this channel and told me, oh, Luis Ortiz is the man to stop Wilder. Wilder's docking Ortiz. So when the fight was made, then they started coming out with that, oh, Ortiz is an old man. When they heard it on this channel that it was an old man, they heard it on this channel because Amir Mansour said it first. But of course, they never want to give us credit. They want to give BWTM credit. They'll go somewhere else and say somebody else quoted the source. Well, it was this channel that broke it first. And then afterwards, they come and tell me afterwards, oh, but Ortiz was an old man.
Okay. Ibrahim now says Fury won't keep Wilder off all night. Legs will fail him. Probably. So now you're making excuses for Fury, bro. See, that's what I'm saying. You can't. Deontay Wilder, in your mind and in other detractors' mind, he can't do anything right.
Mm-hmm.
People say he's cherry picking Fury. Okay.
Cherry picking linear champion, of course it is.
Right. And then if Fury, let's say Fury wins, then Wilder wasn't what he was cracked up to be after all. I'm just being real. Everything that you're saying, you won't admit to the facts that I'm stating. I'm stating you facts. I'm not stating you my opinion. Go look at Wilder.
Oh my God, block this guy. Get rid of him, Ibrahim. He said the fight is pointless. Get him out of the room, please.
I know the fight is pointless because you can't win the argument. You don't have anything to stand on.
Get him out of the room. Get him out the room. Get Ibrahim out the room.
Razor Ramon, do the duties, bro.
Have you not got a wrench?
Razor Ramon has a wrench.
You should have a wrench.
I'm looking. Hey, Razor's also a wrench in my live stream. Now Fury can't win this fight according to Ibrahim. Now he can't win the fight, but that's not what you said at the beginning, bro. And that's what I'm talking about. You see what happens when facts come to the table. What happens? You can't argue facts. Listen, I'm gonna be real with Tyson. Besides Vladimir Klitschko, who has Tyson Fury fought? That's credible. That is a world level fighter. Who has Anthony Joshua fought that's a world level fighter? He got his belts from Charles Martin. Charles Martin got overpaid to give up his belts. That's just the truth. Okay. Derek Chisora is not world level. Carlos Taco's not world level. Okay. They're local. They're local fighters who have a good name where they're at. They don't fight over here. That's because that's why they're not known here. That's why they're not known here, because they're not world level. Okay. Dillian White is a career. He's ducked more fights than he's fought. Dillian White calls out Luis Ortiz in early November, then rescinds immediately when Ortiz says, "I'll make the fight, send a contract." Then you don't hear from Dillian White. You hadn't heard from Dillian White still. Stop the madness. Accept the facts. Stop living it. Stop believing. This is the thing. Stop buying this BS from your fighters and call them out on it. Anthony Joshua, call him out on it. He doesn't want to make the fight. Eddie Hearn and Barry Hearn don't want to make the fight because they got to keep you, the UK fans, buying their program so they can make a shitload of money. They want your money. And you're lapping it up because it's a combination of nationalism and pride and a few other things.
Propaganda.
Huh?
Propaganda and spin.
Exactly. I see more you can.
Did Barry Hearn or Eddie Hearn not say that boxing fans are idiots or mugs? He called them idiots. Yeah. The boxing fans are so gullible.
He said these things. But guess what? Eddie Hearn, guess all that stuff that Eddie Hearn has been successful at in the UK.
And by the way, one other thing about Eddie Hearn said he doubts the fight would happen. He doesn't think the fight's going to happen. Yeah. I don't think it's going to. There's a video actually of the amount of times that Eddie Hearn said the fight wasn't going to happen. Well, let's see if the fight's going to happen. I don't think the fight's going to happen. Let's see if the fight's going to happen. There's a whole video of him saying this. It's on YouTube. Check it out.
Yep. If Eddie Hearn was holding an orange in his hand and he was going to give it to me, I wouldn't believe he had it. I'm just telling you the truth. This is the thing. All the stuff that Eddie Hearn proclaims that he's going to take over America. Go ask how Eddie's ticket sales are for the zone events.
And you know what? I confronted Eddie about the whole thing about Al Heyman coming to the UK. It's not going to happen. Al can't come to the UK. Shit. How's he going to get into the market?
Al's about to crush him. That's what people don't understand. Al's about to crush that dude. Listen, Al's the reason why HBO is dead. HBO, 45-year history in boxing, first cable channel to ever present boxing. It was the fight that gave you Foreman Ali or Frazier Ali. I can't remember which one. 1973. So Frazier Ali. Okay. Al Heyman putting a stake in the UK is like getting AIDS being spit on. That's just real talk. It's a virus. And it's going to, and if he does what I think he's going to do, he's going to destroy the Hearn business model. I really truly see that if that happens. Eddie Hearn is choking and dying in the United States with the zone. Okay? He is choking and dying. Jaime Munguia, who is up and coming at 54, just signed a contract with the zone for 6 fights. Guess who brought him aboard? The people that already had him, Golden Boy, in conjunction with his other promoter. Anybody that believes that Eddie Hearn is over Oscar De La Hoya, you are smoking the real grass. Okay, you got to understand these dudes have two independent contracts. No one works for each other. No one is over each other. Oscar De La Hoya is a far more successful promoter as a figurehead than Eddie Hearn has ever done working. Okay, Oscar De La Hoya's fighter has a $365 million 11-fight deal. What big money has any Eddie Hearn fighter ever got? I heard that Anthony Joshua got $125 million deal. Okay, that's it. Who else? Now you got Jaime Munguia, who if they bring him along correctly and actually commit him to the Canelo model of avoiding black fighters, he'll be all right. I like Jaime Munguia. They got to build him up some more. He's very similar to Canelo in his start. Started very early, 15 years old, just like Canelo as a professional. But now DAZN might actually have a saving grace in the Hispanic market. We know Canelo Alvarez is a ducker. We know all of that stuff. But Eddie Hearn exposed himself coming over here. Eddie Hearn didn't have the infrastructure. He didn't have the business know-how. He didn't have the market education. And now he's in the red zone with DAZN. I promise you this. Listen, do you realize the last DAZN card was at a casino 20 miles south of Wichita, Kansas, with a town with a population of 6,000 people? Hell, it's probably 6,000 people in my neighborhood. Okay? 6,000 people that had 300 people in attendance. They don't tell you that, though, do they? They don't tell you about the 300 people that were in attendance for the Clarissa Shields fight, who signed a one-fight deal with DAZN. They don't tell you that what's his name? What's the washed-up guy's name? Brandon Rios. That there were 300 people at this fight in a place that holds 5,000 people. You expect the American public to pay $10 a month for that? For fighters that no one really knows? Unfortunately, the women's division is not popular, even though I think there's some skilled ladies in there. Brandon Rios is second tier and always has been. Okay? Nobody's looking out for Danny Jacobs. That's why Danny Jacobs hasn't signed with DAZN. Why do you think, if he was so tight with Eddie Hearn, why hasn't he re-signed with Matchroom or DAZN? He's probably going back to the PBC where he actually makes real money. Why do you think Eddie Hearn hasn't been able to sign people? Because he is not offering enough money.
Yeah, but they're going to say they signed Usyk, though.
Who knows Usyk in the United States? Again, I hate to say this because this is the truth. If you're not fighting in the U.S., you're not fighting. That's the truth.
But then they come back and say to you, yeah, but the boxing marketplace is in the UK, not the US.
That's not a statement of arrogance. That's just a statement of fact. That's where you make the most money. You make the most money in the States. The biggest purses are in the States.
Yeah, but look at Anthony Joshua there. Look at Joshua and his gates. That's what they're going to say to you.
Yeah. They can keep saying it. That don't make it facts. Yeah, I always hear about, and then when you break them down with all these facts, oh, well, Anthony Joshua fills stadiums. Yeah, but his last stadiums, it was a really big ticket giveaway because he wasn't selling out. People talk about, well, Wilder's not selling out. The head of Showtime Boxing, Steven Espinoza, says the ticket sales, this was last week, he says the ticket sales so far for Wilder Fury is more than DAZN's last 4 to 5 events combined. And Eddie Hearn just admitted 2 days ago on video, you can go look it up, he admits that the American market is very tough. It's very tough to crack because it's very different from the UK. He says most people in the UK buy their tickets far in advance. It's an event. People in America hear about a fight, they buy it right then and there. And the closer you get to an event, that's when they buy the tickets. So what Eddie Hearn was in fact admitting was that he's not a good promoter in the United States because people aren't buying tickets to his events. He can't, he's not, he talks about Deontay Wilder not being able to pack out a stadium, but he's never done it not one time in the United States. Okay. American ticket prices are far higher than the UK ticket prices. Eddie Hearn is not succeeding here. And my feeling is, based on the inside information, you might have a problem in January or early February, Eddie Hearn. Listen, when you break down his DAZN deal, let's be factual. It's not a $1 billion deal. I want people to understand what it actually is. It's a 2-year deal for $250 million with 4 2-year options potentially, but it's actually a guaranteed 2-year option if he makes the mark. Eddie sells you a bill of goods, but the reality is he's getting toasted over here. Eddie Hearn is not. Go ahead. Sorry.
He's an accountant by nature, so accountant by name, accountant by nature.
Yep. I mean, you can't even put it in proportion what Eddie Hearn's doing. Eddie Hearn is not even as good as a promoter as Kathy Duva in the United States. Kathy Duva's horrible.
They're calling Kathy Don King. Can you believe that?
Yeah, he can't even put the D in Don. I mean, come on, bro. Don King. In fact, Don King was a numbers guy in the 50s. That's how he made his first million. Illegal numbers running. Don King got out of 2 murders. He served a few years for one and got out scot-free on another. That's the facts. Don King had the WBC sold up so much he could overturn the outcome of fights. Eddie, man, listen, I'm not trying to break people down. I'm not trying to disrespect anybody. I'm just telling you facts. Eddie Hearn is failing. Eddie Hearn is failing. And with Oscar De La Hoya and Canelo Alvarez coming to the zone, that was a death knell for Eddie Hearn. And there's several more death knells coming. That's a fact, Hamza. But also Don King was responsible for pushing the mafia out of boxing as well, as he got more and more influential. Hey, Ingram, I'm not, again, facts hurt. Facts hurt. Trolls have a place under the bridge.
Yeah.
Not in chat rooms. Or in Lord of the Ring movies.
They won't be liking this chat today, but it's good. They've got more than what they expected.
Oh, they got that ass beat.
Hey, I'm going to end it here. Is there anything you'd like to say to people? Of course, please do subscribe to World Breaker Fighting. Lots of talk, lots of boxing chat, and lots of other things as well. Very educated brother here, Adonis. Please get over to his channel, hit the subscribe button.
Hey, I appreciate it, man. I like to thank everybody that listen. I also like to thank all the trolls because y'all make these channels go. So if you don't like the content, you hit the dislike. You're doing the same thing as the like button. It's all algorithms. Okay? So voice your displeasure with a thumbs down, please, if you don't like it. And definitely do it with a thumbs up if you do like it. And come subscribe. Come watch and subscribe. World Breaker. Talk about a bevy of content
to be fair, I think it's the same old people dislike, but we seem to get more likes on watch more. The likes far outweigh the dislikes.
Yeah, that's the truth. You're just gonna get them. But hey, listen, I embrace the hate. That's just how I look at it. I embrace the hate. It just makes me stronger, and that's my philosophy.
Absolutely.
So, especially when you got knowledge on your side.
Absolutely. Brother, thank you so much once again. This has been BWTM with a special USA crossover with my brother from Texas, World Breaker Fighting. Adonis, thank you so much once again, brother.
Hey, I appreciate it, homie.
You take care and we'll speak soon.
All right, bro. Thanks.
Don't forget this Saturday night in Leeds, it's the Training Cave's first amateur boxing show. Details, of course, are up here. www.trainingcave.co.uk. You've been watching BWTM. Thanks for watching.